Welcome back, fellow farmers and friends, to Misled Farms, and we are here again on Frankenmuth Farms for episode 4 of the series. Once again, I need to start off the video just by saying a big thank you to everyone out there who continues to support all the content that's been released recently here on the channel. Subscribers are going up through the roof. We have officially eclipsed 100 subscribers. Thank you to all of you out there that are coming along with me on this journey here through Farming Simulator 22, through all the Let's Play series that we have, through the live streams, through the beginner's guides. Much appreciation to all of you out there. And I hope that you continue to enjoy the content. And if you're watching the video right now and you're not subscribed to the channel, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, do the community a favor. Like the video, comment down below, let us know what you're thinking about everything. Click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content here on the channel. And with that, let's get into the day's chores here on the farm. Now today here in Frankenmuth, we got ourselves a bit of work that we need to get taken care of and get knocked out. Hopefully gonna be a profitable day for us here. We're looking to make some good money. Come on there, bud. Nope, just go ahead, make the turn. I'm not gonna bother you. Yep, thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, big day, busy here on the farm to close out the month of October. We actually got a list of a couple things we need to try to get accomplished here before we close out the month of October and move into November. Now, if you missed last episode, highly encourage you to go back, check it out. But we have officially acquired our first field here on Frankenmuth, which is a big stepping stone for us, right? That's the start of our farming future here in Frankenmuth. That's what's going to solidify us as a legitimate farmer here in Frankenmuth. But for today, as you can see here in the background, yes, we went with the baling contract. Now, hear me out. Here's why we did the baling contract. One, we're going to make $38,000 off of this contract, which is much needed right now. We need it. We took a hit when we bought the field. Again, great purchase, smart purchase for us here in Frankenmuth, but we need to start putting some money back into our bank account. I can't think of any better way to do that than to do a baling contract that's going to pay out probably pretty close to $44,000 all said and done. So hopefully, with the way that everything's going to go with this contract, once we get it complete, we'll be upwards of about $82,000, $83,000. Now, there are some things that we're going to do a little bit differently for this contract just to try to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. And one of those first things that we're going to do is we're not going to utilize this baler down here, this Pottinger. I'll show you what baler we're going to use for this contract. We are going to be looking at using the Vicon Fast Bale, which is a mod. I actually downloaded this mod from in-game, so you don't need to go to the Mod Hub website via Farming Simulator. You can do this one right from in-game, so there you go. Never used it before, so we're going to test it out. We're going to see how it works. Now, with this baler here, it's nice. It's a 2-chamber baler. So we're going to be able to do our initial pickup here in the front, and once the bale hits a certain capacity, we're going to see the bale transfer to the backside of the baler here. And then once it's completed, it is going to rock back here into the cradle, and it's going to get wrapped. Now, I love these style balers. The Kubota equipment pack has a baler that's very similar to this. I love these style balers because we never need to stop. If automatic drop's turned on, we are all set. It's all good. We can just continue rolling, maximizes efficiency. The equipment's always running. We're always turning bales and thus making progress as fast as we can. A couple things we're going to probably end up doing. We're going to change the bale color just because we can. We're going to, of course, when it comes time, we're going to bump the working speed up. I mean, come on. Let's just be honest here. We're not we're not trying to go a normal working speed. Not a chance. Some other ones that we do have installed, but got a couple Pottingers here installed to have a increased super wide width at their pickup there at the chamber. The quick bale. I'm not sure what a quick bale is. Let's take a look at this one. Working speed 24 mile an hour. Is it 2-chamber? Oh, it is. Oh no, this is awesome. Oh, you're kidding me. We can bale at 30 miles an hour? What? What? Oh, look at, oh my lord, we can do pink bales. This is the one. I don't know how we don't use this one now. I don't know how we don't. Okay, now I'm actually kind of excited. Kind of excited to do this baling contract right here. This is gonna be awesome. Lizard quick bale. I don't recall, man, I don't know when I installed that mod, but I'm very happy that I did whenever I did it. That's awesome. Really looking forward to checking that one out. So we got a couple things that need to happen here. First and foremost, we need to get the Mac Daddy, the Big M, the Crone. We need to get this up to field 10 right now. I am so excited. I'm gonna mow so much grass with you. Oh, I love the Crone Big M. This thing is amazing. All right, this grass field is gonna be no match for the Crone. Hopefully we can kind of zip around this field relatively quickly here and get this contract pretty well nipped and taken care of pretty quickly here. Like I said, the Crone, pretty wide mowing path here, so shouldn't take us too much time to get through this field. But before we cut away from mowing this field here, I did want to talk about the live stream that is coming up. So I do appreciate you guys providing some votes there on the poll about adding some live streams to the channel. So far to this point, we've actually done 2 live streams. So if you've not dropped by for any of the previous live streams, be sure to drop by for the one that's upcoming. We do have a series going that we're just solely doing for live stream purposes. We're doing we're just having some fun on Elma, Missouri. It's a new map that was just released, I think about a week and a half ago, maybe somewhere around there. It's nothing serious, like we're not doing any start from scratch. It's not really a role play series. I mean, we're just farming, we're just having some fun, doing what we feel, just doing kind of what we feel like doing, just kind of breaking loose from some of the confines of doing series like here on Frankenmuth Farms and over on No Man's Land. So right now what I'm thinking about doing is the live stream. Well, by the time you guys are seeing this video, the live stream is probably already come and gone, to be completely honest with you. So what I'm going to do in the future though for live streams is I'm always going to post about the live stream schedule right on YouTube. That way, once you're at the channel, all you're gonna have to really do is go over to the community side of it, where I've been dropping some posts. I'll put the live stream schedule out, kind of give you guys a heads up on what we're gonna be doing in that episode. But like I said, for the most part right now, we're just kind of having some fun on Elma, Missouri. So if you guys have nothing else going on when we are live, I'd love to see you guys all there, dropping by, show some support for the channel. And let's just have a good time playing some Farming Simulator. Good Lord, ladies and gentlemen, this baler is absolutely amazing. Look at the speed in which we are churning, and I mean literally churning these bales out. This is amazing. Absolutely an amazing baler. Holy good Lord. This is going to take us no time at all to get this knocked out. No time whatsoever. And I like how it actually kicks it over onto the flat side of the bale. Wow. This exceeds the expectations that I even had for it. I didn't think it was actually going to be this fast of a baler. I mean, this is just like, man, that's like nightmare fuel right there with how fast that's going in it. And all the pink bales that we're gonna have across this field. It's gonna look pretty good when we're all done with that. Yeah, so all I'm gonna really do is I'm gonna cruise around the field, get all the rest of these bales picked up. We currently have, I think that finishes up, that's 7 bales right there. Here comes our 8th bale. Yeah, this is too easy. This is too easy. right, with all of the baling done, all 112 pink bales done, there ain't really much left to do other than just kind of drive around the field and pick them up. This trailer here is going to hold 32 of these round bales. Now, we did miss a few spots. There are some things that I did notice about that baler. It does have a tendency periodically to just miss small parts. Now, those parts back there that we just passed, that was not the baler's fault. I knew that we had missed those. I just didn't go back and pick it up because, yeah, I figured 112 bales is probably going to be sufficient on this field here. So it's going to take us about 4 runs to get all of these bales over to the sell point. First, we're going to transport them to complete the contract, and then we're also going to have some bales left over that we're going to be able to sell off and make a little bit of money. Now, normally silage bales, depending on the economy difficulty that you're playing on in game, silage bales can be a pretty surefire way to make a substantial amount of money in the early game. I don't anticipate us making that much money off silage bales left over from this contract. So realistically, I did kind of have a thought. These are free bales for us. Seems that we don't own a grass field currently, technically we could just go put these bales on our farm and just have them for later use. But I think I'd rather just make the money off of them initially. If I'm being completely honest with you, I definitely think the way to go is to just make money off of them for now. Like I said, we don't really have a huge need for silage bales at this point in time. It'd be different if we had cows and we were looking to make TMR and do stuff like that. Then yes, I would say absolutely. Let's be cautious with how many bales we sell off to make sure that we can take as many as possible back over to our farm after we had completed the transport requirement for the contract. But with the first load of 32 bales moving on down the road, we're going to go ahead and just get all these dropped off, complete the contract here. So what I'm going to do is make this run here, come back, pick up another load, and then when we make our final run to the animal dealer to drop off these silage bales, I'll catch up with you guys then, and we will review how much money we've made in total off of this contract. All right, dropping off the last load there, or well, the second trip. 83% transported for field 10. So a couple things are going to happen here on this next trip. 1, we're going to complete the contract. 2, we're going to start to make a little bit of money. It seems like every bale to 2 bales is about 1% completion for the transport requirement. So I'm going to say probably going to take 14 or 15 more bales to complete this contract. Now at that point, I do have the option, again, we've already discussed it, I do have the option just to retain all the rest of the bales for myself and take them back over to the farm, stack them somewhere, just kind of off to the side, out of sight, out of mind. And just out of curiosity, just out of pure curiosity right now, what is silage selling for? Let's take a look here. Silage. It's not doing too good right now. $176 at the animal dealership, and yeah, it gets $20 better in the month of January. So, I mean, maybe we look at doing it. $20 extra, that's per 1,000 liters too. So there's going to be quite a bit of extra silage here. And so, life hack, if you, on Farming Simulator, when you're doing any sort of baling contracts, or if you do a field harvest in which the crop produces straw, and then you bale that straw up, don't turn in the contract right away. Like, as soon as you're done with, the harvesting contract, and you've transported all the grain, and you've gotten the contract completed, don't turn it in right away. Because what you can do then is take a baler onto that field, you can bale up all of that straw, and you can take it back to your farm, and you can have it for yourself, and then turn in the contract. Same with the silage or the baling contracts. Do the mowing, do the baling, and then from there, transport until you've completed the transport requirement, but don't turn in the contract. Like right now, if the contract was complete, I could have all of these silage bales to myself, realistically. I'd just take them back to my farm, set them off to the side, and we would have however many bales remain on this field we'd have for ourselves, which could potentially be the case after we make this trip down to the animal dealership. But again, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want to do for this in this point in time. But for you guys out there that are playing along in Farming Sim and you're doing contracts and you have harvesting contracts that produce straw, or you're doing the baling contracts and you have extra silage bales, because every contract is not going to require you to deliver 100% of whatever you pull off the field. There's like a threshold that you have to meet, and at which point the remaining pieces of that product or that remaining yield of that crop is profitable directly to you. And again, if you turn the contract in right away, then all of these silage bales that you see here remaining on the field would just go away. They would no longer be available. We wouldn't be able to, well, I shouldn't say that. They may stay on the field, but we wouldn't be able to pick them up. So, yeah. Do with that information what you will, but just know that it's a pretty good way to get yourself a little bit of a stock of maybe some crop stored in your silo system, or some silage bales set aside on the farm for later use. But I'm going to continue driving around here like a madman, picking up all these bales. This will be our third trip down to the animal dealership. This will complete the transport part of the contract. So everything else from here is going to be profits going directly into our pocket. So we just made $26,000 on those bales there. I'm not sure how many of those bales sold for profit for us, but we've completed the contract. By my count, as I was driving around the field picking up those remaining bales and getting ready to make this third delivery, I think we have about 16 or 17 bales left on the field. So we stand to probably make another $15,000 to $20,000, maybe a little bit more, which is going to put us up to $80,000. And then we get to collect on the contract, which is going to be another $38,000, I think is what the contract was worth. So yeah, this puts us right back up in six figures. We're going to be over $100,000, which is good because we need to make some more decisions in this episode, along with everything else that we have going on. We need to look at equipment. I mean, we need a tractor pretty bad right now. And unfortunately in this game, it's very hard to afford a good, reliable tractor that has enough horsepower, that is practicable for doing all of the field work that you need to do. So, yeah, for $100,000 or a little over $100,000, we're going to be slim pickings in the store. But nonetheless, we'll do our due diligence. We'll take a look. We'll see what's available. Leasing right now, or I'm sorry, not leasing. The sales page, yeah, the sales page is just raking us over the coals right now. Like, I don't need a forklift. Whatever this header trailer is, I don't need that. Have no clue what this is. Looks like some sort of winch system. Transport logs out of the woods. There it is. So it's like a winch. Can pull some tree logs. And then we have a forage harvester header, all of which serves no purpose on this farm for us right now. So yeah, sales page not doing too much for us right now, but hopefully within the next couple months, maybe we'll start to see some stuff on there that is worthwhile and can be easily employed around the farm to make life a little bit easier for us. It'd be really nice if they decided to put a tractor on there, you know. I'm just saying, it'd be really cool. Please. They probably won't do it. They probably won't put a tractor on there. But nonetheless, let's get these last few bales here picked up. That's 10. Here comes 11 and 12. And we have number 13, lucky number 13. Yep, 16 bales remaining, so I'll get these last two loaded up. I'm going to head back down to the animal dealership, get these final bales turned in, see what our total profit on the bales were. So we made, what did I say it was last time? $26,000, somewhere around there. I'm thinking this is going to be probably pretty close to $20,000 again. $82,000. Yeah, we're going to come out of this just fine. About $115,000 total after everything's all said and done and the contract is turned in. Then it is time for us to actually go work our own field for the first time in this series, we can get a break from having to do contracts in everyone else's fields, and we can actually go and finally do some work in our own. We need to get that harvested potato field plowed up. We need to get some soil samples taken. I'm just going to assume we need to put some lime down. We're also going to need to put some fertilizer down. Then we need to get a seeder. We need to seed the field. Then we'll see where we're at from there. So not all the bales sold at the same time, but you can see $83,000. So we made, yeah, just over 20K. And bonus, we got another trailer here. But what I'd like to do before we head back to the farm here, we've already looked at the sales page. We keep hoping and praying, but yeah, we just keep getting kind of screwed over here on the sales page. So let's take a look at some small tractors. Let's see what options are out there that could potentially be something that we could look at going with. This case isn't bad for $112,000, but that's all of our money. That leaves us with probably just a little under $9,000 left in our pocket. Some of these older style tractors aren't bad as long as they still have horsepower, which it looks like for the most part they do. The Kubota series is not bad. This is 141 horsepower, so it's not the most powerful thing. And with what we have coming up that we need to do, the big thing we need to keep in mind is seeders. Seeders are going to be a pretty big horsepower drain on our tractor. And you can see right here, there would be two seeders that we could really use in essence if we went with a lower horsepower tractor. Now, we could do something like this, which does a 5-meter working width, which is not bad. To be completely honest, that's not bad. We might, you know what? I'm thinking, hang on just 1 second. I'm thinking we get that seeder. I'm willing to go for that seeder right there. That John Deere seeder that we just looked at, I'm willing to go for that. It does both seed and fertilizes all at the same time. It holds 1,660 liters of seed. That's not bad. Our field is not that big, so this is not a bad starting seeder for us. It's going to do all the crops that we're interested in doing here initially. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Of course, by default, we already know we got to up the working speed. This isn't bad. I think this is it. Okay, I'm not a fan of those. We'd probably just go with the standard tires. Saves us a little bit of money. Yeah, done. Our first piece of equipment is a $6,000 seeder. I like it. The Kubota one's not too bad. Holds a lot more, but also only has a 3-meter working width, so yeah, we're kind of limited there. Now, what that frees us up to do, kind of the bonus of buying that seeder as our first one, that was what's the horsepower requirement on that seeder? 60 horsepower. So now we don't need to worry about going overboard on our tractor. I mean, we could go with this little Fendt here. We could go with, that's the other decision that we need to make is what kind of farm do we want to be? Do we want to be a New Holland farm? Are we going to be a green farm? Are we going to be a red farm and go with the case? Oh, I wasn't ready to make this decision just yet. Was not ready. Let's go back down here and take a look at the Maxim series. So stock, $112,000. We're going to get 145 horsepower. If we upgrade the engine, it's an additional $15,000. We can't afford it. It's off the table. Can't do it. Not worried about a front loader attachment. I'm not worried about the Iseria Pro, and I'm not worried about GPS. So let's bump this back down to its stock horsepower setting, 145, $112,000. Not a bad option right there. The John Deere, on the other hand, 5 less horsepower, but also, I mean, it's only $2,500 less at that point. And then the T6. The T6 is base 102. It's $25,000 to upgrade the engine to 175 horsepower. That's just it, though. Do we need that big of an engine right now? Right now is what I would say. Man, I don't know. I feel like whether we go with a New Holland, whether we go with the John Deere, or we go with a Case, I'm going to get roasted for any decision that we make for what brand we're going to have here on the farm. So I think what we're going to do, just to have a little bit of consistency, we might have a little bit of a mixed bag of equipment running around the farm. So we might have some Massey Ferguson, we might have some Fendt, we might have some John Deere, Case, New Hollands, so on and so forth. So that's not really something that I've normally ever paid attention to. However, in future series coming up, if there is a specific brand that you would like to see some brand loyalty to throughout the series, drop that down below in the comments section, and we will absolutely make that happen. But for right now, I'm actually thinking, I don't even, man, the Kubota even, 18,000. We could afford that, and that leaves us 12,000. But that still only gives us 141 horsepower. I'm spending way too much time on this decision. I'll get back to you guys when we have made up our mind. All right, we finally made a decision on a tractor. You guys will find out what direction we went with the tractor here shortly. But I want to talk about the Iseria Scout, because there are some different options when you get into the mods for the Iseria Scout. So this is the base Iseria Scout. This is going to do a smaller radius in your field. So depending on how large your field is, could mean that you're going to spend a lot more time doing soil samples and getting all that stuff taken care of. The Iseria Pro Active, this is a crop sensor that measures nitrogen uptake of the crop to apply a more precise fertilizer rate. You can also get this type of stuff like crop detection items installed directly on your tractor. So we'll probably make use of this a little bit later, especially once we get our field up and running. Now, these Iseria Scouts here just do a much larger radius. This Iseria Scout right here is going to do more than you're going to need for a lot of your fields. Now, if that's the way that you want to do it, then there's nothing saying that you can't do it that way. But for the purposes of what we have going on in the size of our field, not that there's any sort of a price difference, but just for practicality of doing these soil samples, we just need the 32.5 meter. So we are going to go ahead and customize this. We're going to lease that for $867 because we do need to take our soil samples over at our field. Now, for the moment of truth, to figure out what tractor we went with, go ahead, if you have a guess right now, drop it down in the comments section. Let us know, do you think we went with a Case, John Deere, New Holland, Fendt, Massey Ferguson, or another style brand available in the game? Go on. I'll give you just a couple seconds to drop your guesses down below. All right, you good? You good? You think you got it? If you guessed New Holland, you got it. We went with the New Holland, the T6, with the John Deere seeder. And then also, you guys seen the part there where we got the soil sampling system. So what we're going to do is hook up to our seeder, and we own this. This is ours. This is our tractor. We did not lease this, so we officially have our own tractor. We even did a little custom license plate there, so I like that. Let's go ahead and hook up to the soil sampler. And then we're going to head back over towards, I guess we could go right to our field, to be honest. At this point, yeah, I don't think we need to go back to the farm for anything. We can have some seed delivered right out to our field for us. And then, oh, wait a minute. We need a plow. Dang it. I totally forgot about plowing that field up. Maybe we'll have them bring us a plow while they also bring us some seed. I think that'll work out just fine. I'm actually a big fan of this seeder, though. To be honest with you, I really like this. This is simple. It's practical for where we are in this stage of the game. Man, you gotta love that new tractor smell. Oh boy, stay on the road. Gotta love it though. This New Holland's actually pretty nice. I like the T6. Look at the little buddy seat right there, little co-pilot seat. Yeah, I like this. This is nice. We're off to a really good start. I'm really liking how this series is turning out for us here. Hopefully I didn't miss my turn for our field. I actually think it's up there in the next intersection where that guy just ran that stop sign. It's no big deal. Let's pretend we didn't see that. All right, for those of you unfamiliar with precision farming, let's talk about taking your soil samples. So with this mounted either to the front or the back of the tractor, it's not going to matter. Go ahead and unfold the sampling unit. Once you do, you're going to notice that you're going to get a green circle that shows up on your mini map. That green circle indicates the radius in which you are taking a current soil sample. So for an example, we are in a pretty good spot here in this field to start, so I'm going to go ahead and left bumper and hit X for take soil sample. Now with the modded ones, they take the soil sample very quickly. With the base game one, it's going to take a little bit of time for it to go through its cycle, but nonetheless, it's going to produce the same exact result. Now what you see there is we have a red area, like a burgundy-ish color on our field. That means that that soil is pending a soil analysis by the lab, and I'll show you guys how to turn in your soil samples to the lab. Don't worry, it's super easy. We don't have to go anywhere special to get that taken care of. And then you really the only thing left to do is just drive around your field until the entire field that you're taking soil samples in is covered in that red. That's it. That's soil samples. That's how simple it is to get that task taken care of. And just like that, the majority of the field is completed for its soil sampling. All of this is now pending a soil sample analysis. So in order to do that, again, it's pretty easy. Just if you're playing with the controller, either on PC or if you're on console, just for an Xbox controller, you're just going to left bumper and you're going to hit Y. You're going to send the soil samples off for analysis. You're going to get this pop-up. You're just going to acknowledge that. You're going to say, okay. It doesn't take long. It takes a matter of seconds. I would say probably here by the time this finishes folding, soil samples will be back and turned in. Of course, it's going to make a liar out of me here because we're, recording this video. But you get a notification up there in the upper right-hand corner of your screen that will say soil analysis is completed. And at that point, you will be charged $100 per soil sample that you took. So if you took 10 soil samples, it would be $1,000 total cost to have that soil sample or soil samples analyzed at the lab. Now what will happen is once the soil samples are back and they're done, what we will see is our soil type will populate. So you can see here right now it's just showing soil sample taken. And it is taking a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take for that to populate. So while we're waiting, let's go ahead and let's turn in the soil sampler because we know we don't need that anymore. Well, I made my way back over to the farm here to drop our seeder off and also get it preloaded, pre-staged with some fertilizer. And then I also got our plow delivered to the farmhouse there. So in doing all of that, our soil samples the charge for our soil samples was taken from our bank account, and it actually came out to be just right around $3,000 to have the soil samples taken. That dropped us down to just above like $9,500 remaining in the bank, and then of course the cost here for renting this plow for the day brought us down to $8,900 left in the bank. So it's been a very expensive day on the very backside of being a very profitable start to the episode with doing that baling contract, but we have to have this equipment around on the farm. It at least gives us the option to be able to work our own fields and start doing our own things here around the farm. So with the soil samples being done, let's go ahead and talk about a couple other things before we get this field plowed. So environmental scores is going to be something that we're going to want to pay attention to throughout precision farming. Environmental scores are vital because they will give us a bonus to our profits. So let's say we turn in and we make $10,000 off of some wheat. We will get an environmental score bonus if it's high enough to that as well, and we might get kicked an extra $1,000. Let's just use that as an example. However, if our environmental score drops down too far, we'll actually get chunks taken out of our profit, and we'll actually have to pay it back because our score is too low. To manage a good score, you can see there we have to have some good nitrogen, pH value, weed control, soil sampling, is a big one. And then tillage, working the dirt after you harvest a crop, tilling up that land before planting the crop back down. Now we can take a look here and we can see that we have sandy loam and loam. So right away, I'm feeling pretty good about that because our seed application rate is going to be relatively low, which means we're going to save money on seed because we're not going to be using as much of it to plant these fields. I'm going to guess, I'm going to make the assumption in this episode right here that our yield is going to be above 110% off of this field right here. If we take a look at the pH balances, not bad, but not great. We're hovering at about, I'd say 6.25, maybe 5 3/4 in some area. I'd say, yeah, for the most part, we're anywhere from 5 3/4 to 6 to 6.25 on pH. Nitrogen, horrible. It's nightmare. Don't want it. This is not what we want to see. We have some areas that don't have any fertilization, and then the other half barely has any. So definitely need to get some fertilizer put down on this field. Yield, we're not going to have any data for yield until we actually harvest this field. Again, I'm hoping to see somewhere in around the 115 to 120% mark, which is good for us because this is a relatively small field. So any bonus that we can get to our yield is definitely going to help. Seed rates depend on soil type. So again, with sandy loam and loam, I'm expecting to have a low seed rate, which is good. Means we're using less seed, but we're still planting the same amount of crop. Or standard. High seed rate just means you're going to burn through a lot more seed. The seeder's doing a little bit more work to actually plant that seed into the soil bed for that given soil type. So let's go ahead here. We're going to unfold the plow. We are going to activate some work speed override. We'll drop this plow down. We'll go ahead and get started on this field and get all of this tilled up. And then after the tilling's done here, after we get this all plowed up, I mean, realistically, the only couple things left to do is going to be get some lime down on the field, get some fertilizer down on the field as well, which is going to be a little expensive for us. The lime, probably more so than the fertilizer, mainly because we're going to go through lime very quickly. And I don't know necessarily if we have enough money to actually afford the lime that we're going to need for this field, but we'll see how that's going to work out for us. And these slopes on this field are not my most favorite thing about this one, but we'll make do. We can live with it. So let me go ahead and finish up getting this field plowed up, get everything taken care of here, and then I'll meet back up with you guys and discuss the situation with getting this field limed and fertilized. Well, there we go. With our field all plowed up, we are all set. Let's see if that did. I don't know that it did, but let's just see if maybe that did anything to our environmental score as far as precision farming is concerned. Yeah, I didn't really think it was going to do much for us. But last couple things we need to do, and that's going to pretty much be it for getting field 30 prepped and ready to go, is we need to get some lime on the field. That is priority right now, is to get some lime knocked out. Let's see what we got for spreaders. I'm going to go in here. Let's see, 14,000 liters. I don't think we're going to need 14,000 liters of lime. Let's see, how much is that one? That's 45,000. The Kubota's 26, so that's going to be cheaper for us to lease. Let's just go ahead and bump that up just because standard capacity is 3,900. The XL, what's that do for price difference in leasing? Not enough for me to really be too concerned about it. Yeah, thinking that's the one that we're going to do. We'll XL capacity, bump the working speed back up. I don't know why I backed out of everything. Lease that, good to go. That probably got delivered to our farmhouse. We might have to make a run back there. And then while we travel over there, we'll go ahead and call for, I don't know how many. I'm thinking 8,000 liters to start. I'd rather have more than what we really need than not enough. So there's our lime. We are quickly running out of money here, ladies and gentlemen. So let me make my way back over. We can turn the plow in before I get too carried away with that. We're not going to need that for a while again. I'm going to head back over to the farm, get hooked up to the Kubota spreader, get it loaded up with the lime, and then we're going to make our way back over to field 30, and we're going to get this field limed and see what that does for us as far as getting ourselves ready for fertilization and for seeding. Well, all right, here we go. Let's get the liming started. I do like how the working width of the Kubota, though, is very large. So we're getting a lot of this field done here relatively quickly. Now, if you look down the mini-map, lower left-hand corner, you'll see that our pH balance color on the map there is changing ever so slightly. That's good. That's what we want to have happen. And then the really cool thing about precision farming is I just run into that person's house and give them a new window the size of a T6 New Holland tractor, is if I turn on lime right here, nothing's going to happen. It's on. You can hear the fertilizer spreader, but no lime is going down. It's because we have automatic application rate is enabled. So what it'll do is it won't allow us to put down lime in areas that it does not need to be put down in. This is where precision farming becomes a bit of a money saver in the long run. Because while we're not going to overuse or utilize any excess lime, which I'm here to tell you right now, 8,000 liters is not going to be enough for this field. So maybe it's good that we bought 16,000 liters. But that kind of stuff saves you money in the long run, because how many times have you been liming a field and maybe overlapped a little too much, or you've done like, you just got this little small area that you need to finish up and you use up all of this lime just trying to do that one little small area as we throw lime into that water source over there. That's probably not preferred. But those are just ways that precision farming helps you to actually save a little bit of money in game. And that's the things that I really enjoy about precision farming as well too, is just the money aspect of it. It's an investment to get started, but it's actually a very cool way to, in the long run, save yourself some money. And please do not run out of lime before I finish this field. I will be devastated. Thank you. 295 liters of lime left on this field. That's it. That's all we have. So yeah, 8,000 was it though. I still bought 8,000 too many. So there, we'll hit up that little small spot right there. Yeah, we threw some lime over onto the other field. That's our bad. I'm sure they won't mind. But now the field is completely lime. Does it do anything for our environmental score yet? No, not yet. It will start to go up. I think we actually have to cycle through the field first before anything will happen and give time for everything to actually kind of like populate. But we can see here, it took us 17 soil samples to get this field done. We used 7,578 liters of lime, which actually is 26% less than what we previously, like cost-wise, saved us money there. Total cost so far, we're kind of we're in the red. We've spent more than what this field is going to make us. But once we get some crop down, we'll see some yield here. We'll see all this type of information, and we'll start to see how much money that we're actually making on this field every season, or every time that we plant this field. We'll be able to take a look at the increases that we have in yield, in money, and also to see if maybe we use less lime the next time around. Maybe we use some less fertilizer. Never know. But again, just some very cool things about precision farming just in general. Well, we had some seed delivered out here to the field, and I'm not sure what happened to the fertilizer that we had already put in the seeder, but it was gone. So I had to go all the way back over to the farm and refill with fertilizer as well, because I ended up just kind of having the seeder delivered back out here to the field as well with the seeds. So not sure what happened to our 830 liters of fertilizer that we previously had already had in there, but yeah, it is no more. It had vanished, so I had to refill our fertilizer. Our seed is up. We are going to go with wheat. If I wanted to change our seed, I could just cycle through, see what we wanted to do here. But wheat is what is currently in season, so that is what we're going to go for. A couple things I'm going to point out to you guys before I start seeding this field. If you're curious to see how the variable seed rate works, keep an eye on that on the left left-hand side of the screen, right underneath where it says nitrogen mineral fertilization application. Also keep an eye on my mini map. Once it zooms in, you're also going to see the nitrogen rates of the field change. With this seeder here, nothing really else to do but just lower it down and drive over the field. This seeder is actually, to my knowledge, I think it's actually powered by the wheels rotating. So there's no need to engage anything such as like a PTO or anything like that. Now what you'll get with the nitrogen mineral fertilizer application is you're going to get the little checkered flag, because that is the ideal amount of nitrogen / fertilizer for wheat on loam, as you can see there just beneath it. Make our first pass down the edge of the field here. Go ahead, raise up the seeder, and we'll go ahead and make a pass down this way. Get this edge of the field knocked out here. But yeah, you can see down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, the red is turning to green. That's excellent. That's exactly what we want to see. Green is good, especially as far as fertilization is concerned. And I mean, realistically, that's all there really is to precision farming. The most important things that you need to do is lime, fertilize, and make sure that you're doing weed control on your fields. A couple different ways you can do the weed control. You can do the mechanical weed control, where you just kind of drag a weeder across your fields for small and medium-sized weeds. Now, if weeds get into their large growth state, then at that point, what we need to do is actually start using some herbicide spray. And with precision farming, there is what is called the see and spray option, where it'll only discharge herbicide on active weeds in your field. It won't just continuously spray as you drive across your field, which, as you can imagine, helps for your not only your environmental score, but it doesn't hurt your yield as bad as just spraying your whole entire field, even when there was no weeds in certain areas. Also, for complete transparency, I have the auto roll or no need to roll mod installed. So basically what happens is, as we seed our fields, it actually puts the field into a rolled state. So that is good. I'm not a big fan of rolling fields. I feel like it's very time consuming, and using AIs to accomplish that task can sometimes be a little tricky for them, especially with the larger rollers. We don't have very much room on the edges of the fields here. Now, I'm not saying that not rolling your fields would be a deal breaker as far as yield potential is concerned. I think you're going to gain like maybe a % or 2 of yield if you rolled your fields, but I figure it's simple enough. We'll just do the auto roll and take advantage of that opportunity that we have available to us via a mod. I also should state that, for the record, we started with 830 liters of fertilizer and 830 liters of seed. As you can see here, we've made an entire headland pass around this whole field, and we've done a couple down and backs now, and we've just now used over 200 liters of seed. That's not bad at all things considered, especially with the small capacity of this seeder here. It gives me full faith and confidence that this field here is never going to use a lot of seed, but we're going to pull a relatively decent yield off of this field and make it a worthwhile investment of not only our money, but also our time and energy. All right, we are about to complete the last couple passes here on field 30, and my lord, I feel like this episode is going to be a little bit longer than the first couple episodes, so I do apologize if this episode is longer than what we have normally put out. I'm looking down at the clock right now. We've been recording for 2.5 hours, and the episode 3 was kind of funny. I remember recording episode 3 and thinking to myself, I think it was right around like 2 hours and 10 minutes when I stopped recording that episode, and I like immediately was thinking to myself, this episode is gonna be way too long. It's gonna be like a 55-minute long episode once I get it rendered down and put up on YouTube. It actually came down to be about 40 minutes. So the editing process for some of these videos, what you guys don't see, and I try to kind of cut some of it in so that you can see like some of the field work that we're doing, so on and so forth with the series. But ultimately, what ends up happening is 75% of the content gets cut out because it's downtime of just driving back and forth across the field. So with like the plowing contracts, with the mowing contracts, with seeding this field, a lot of that stuff just kind of gets edited out because it may take me an hour and 15 minutes or an hour or 45 minutes to get a contract completed, especially if it's like a plowing contract, for an example. So that's all, like that whole 45 minutes gets cut down into like these little clips that you guys see in the videos, which makes the 2.5 hours worth of recording shortened down to, I try to aim for like 30-minute to, my max is probably going to be about 40 to 45-minute long episodes, but I try to keep them right around 30 minutes or so, plus or minus a couple minutes there. Now, looking at this field, I said that I have the automatic rolling mod on, and I thought that I did, but apparently I don't, so the field needs to be rolled. Nitrogen values are perfect. pH value is perfect. Expected yield, 98%. So I kind of overestimated what our yield was going to be for this field here. Again, rolling the field is really not going to like bump this up exponentially, you know, to like 122%, 123% or anything like that. So I'm content with this. I'm happy with what we have going on here with this field. 98% wheat. I wish there was a way I could tell like what a predicted yield would probably be coming off this field, but we're just going to have to wait and see once we get into the harvesting season. It has been a super productive day here on Frankenmuth Farms. We started off with the baling contract. We got that all knocked out. We purchased our seeder. We purchased our first tractor. And that's following the episode where we purchased our first field. So we're moving right along. We're making some great progress here on Frankenmuth Farms. For the record, I used about 860-ish, maybe right around 900 liters of seed for that field. So that's not bad. Under 1,000 liters, I'll take that. We didn't use nearly all the fertilizer. We didn't even use a full 800 liters of fertilizer either. So that's good for the product going into that field. That's very good. I'll take that any day of the week. I'm going to head back, though. We need to park the tractor, unhook from the seeder. We need to take a break. Need to kick our feet up, relax. We had a long day here on the farm. It's 4 o'clock currently. Sun's going to be going down in another couple hours in Michigan here on Frankenmuth Farms in the month of October. Hope you all have enjoyed the episode. And once again, I appreciate everyone's support on everything lately on the channel. You guys have absolutely been killing it. I'm still speechless about all of it. I'm probably going to continue to be speechless about all of it until, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't think that feeling is ever really going to wear off. So much appreciation once again to all you viewers out there, everyone that's subbing to the channel, everyone that's checking out the content. You know, again, I appreciate you guys. Hope to see you guys in the next video here on Frankenmuth Farms.